Welcome everybody to Muffins with Morgan Saturday Q&A. You all know how we do it here. I'm going to queue up real quick. I'm going to queue up some music for you guys. But you guys already know what it is. We're here on Muffins with Morgan. We're live as always. Going to check the live stream real quick, making sure that we're good. And you guys know what it is. So, as you all come in here, state where you're tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from? Let us know. And then I got some questions that were already asked of me beforehand. So we'll dive right into it. But again, drop in the chat where you're tuning in from, where you're coming in from. And again, we're super excited to have this session here today. Real quick, I'm gonna cue this up. Like, this is what I'm feeling today. Play some music for you guys. You already know what it is. We got some Young Thug today. If you guys can hear that in the background, we're feeling good. We're feeling good. Again, as everybody's coming in here, let us know where you're tuning in from, and then we'll dive into it. Ryan, what's going on from ATL? You got a rep from ATL. Juan, what's going on from Toronto? Again, we got the Muffins here. Don't get it twisted. Brandon from DC. What's going on? James from LA. Arizona, what's going on? Good morning to you as well. Hari, welcome from New York. We got Blake from Chicago. We got Evan. So what the M stands for, it stands for Majin from Dragon Ball Z. So no, it doesn't stand for my name, which most people think it stands for, but it stands for Majin. Shaw, what's going on? ATL, stand up. Anthony from Calgary, what's going on? Canada. Josh coming in from Austin. You're right. We got Arizona, Tucson. So, okay, cool. Everybody's in here. We got India. We got India in here. We got Kelly in here too. So we got a lot of people coming in today. So as you guys always know, what we do here is we go over questions. It's an hour. So like at 12 noon, I'm like, all right, boom, we shut it off. So again, just for an hour, we're going to get action-packed. We're going to get right into it. And again, I know we got some people from Cali too. So again, I'm going to ask questions based on things that I've already gotten, and then you all in the comments, if you have a questions around sales, it can be non-sales related. We have some non-sales related questions sometimes, but again, if you have a question on sales, put it in the chat. I'll answer it, and then we'll be good to go. So again, we got people from Toronto, we got Seattle in the house. Dude, we got Atlanta coming in strong right now. We're good to go. Brian, I'm eating blueberry muffins, so these little bites, like, it's just a lot easier to eat. If I ate a whole muffin during this segment, like, it'd be a little bit too much. So I just got the little ones. So cool. So let's first start off with this question. Someone asked it to me. They're like, Morgan, how do you structure and write your emails when you're reaching out to a prospect? What's the best way to go about it? And what's the formula? So as you all know, hey, I got the formula as usual. And this is the way you go about it in terms of emails. Again, as we dive into this, and then shout out to everybody coming in here. We got London coming in strong. Juan, shout out to Miami. Hopefully you're staying warm down there. And then, boom, we got Cali here too. So if you all have notepads, maybe you came in and you're taking notes, like, this is important when you think about your emails. Okay, so when you write an email, first and foremost, you want to think about the subject line. Your subject line should be recommendation less than 5 words. And the reason for that is based on the data that I've seen, that if a subject line has less than 5 words, it has a higher open rate, and the subject lines with just 1 word have the highest open rate. So, and I would keep that in mind. Now, there's a couple subject lines you can do. If you put your company name as the 1-word subject line, you also will have higher open rates. And again, this is all based on Sales Loft study. I could definitely send it over if you guys are looking for it, but that's the way to think about your subject lines. Less than 5 words here. Also, lowercase subject lines have higher open rates as well. So again, things to consider there. Then once you get past the subject line, because that's what people look at, then what they're going to do is they're going to look at the first 4 to 5 words of the email. Now, some of you may know this, some of you may not. If you follow me for a while, you've heard this. If you are brand new to here, this is some new advice for you just to consider in terms of outbound cold emails here. So 78% of emails are read on the mobile device. What's that? Say that one more time, all right? So 78% of emails are read on the mobile phone. And again, that stat can continuously fluctuate, right? However, that's something just important to know. And so, how do you make sure those first 4 to 5 words stand out? So, what I would encourage you all to stay away from an outbound email is hope all is well, hope that you're staying safe, right? These are things at the end of the day to stay away from because they're filler, right? If you've had a conversation, right, cool, right? Then you can put hope all is well, hope you had a great weekend, etc. But if you've never had a conversation, putting that as filler, and most emails that are sent out that are outbound have that. So then most people see it as, again, oh, that's just an automated email delete. And again, we don't want to get deleted here. We want to get responses. So the real key thing here is first 4 to 5 words, pay attention to what those are. Now, what I lean on is I noticed, or I saw, or I was researching. These are things that I lean on that I've seen to have high open rates when I tell them that I've saw or noticed or was researching something, and they're more prone to open it up because then they're like, oh, okay, well, this person noticed something. Then, okay, I'll check it out. So again, that's one thing to pay attention to as well when you're engaging and you're interacting on email is the first 4 to 5 words. They have to stand out or the person won't open them. And then the next phase of that is your first 2 sentences. You want to make it relevant or personalized. So personalized means that I have done research. I've gone to the website. I've gone to LinkedIn, right? Maybe I went to their Twitter. I went to the YouTube interview and I found relevant information. So I could be like, hey, I noticed on your LinkedIn that you're currently looking to hire SDRs. And then the next sentence would be, based on that information, we're working with a lot of SDR leaders that are hiring SDRs, and this is how we help them, right? And then I could go into my second part, which is the value prop. So everyone here, you'd understand, hey, what does your solution or your service offer to solve that trigger that you found? Hey, I saw you're hiring SDRs. When we see that, this is how we help, right? The second part. And then the third part is your call to action. Now, this part is key, right? So the call to action has now changed as well. So I did a webinar on Thursday. Maybe you all showed up, maybe you didn't. But we talked about interest call to actions. And what that means is we have to change our call to action. So instead of asking for time, or are you free for 30 minutes? Are you free for 20 minutes or whatever? It's saying, hey, are you open to learning more? Or are you interested in a deeper dialogue? So recently I was working with a team and they were doing this on their phone calls and their emails. They asked for time. They switched it to, are you interested in a deeper dialogue? Are you open to learning more? And they got more responses that turned into meetings because people felt like it was very conversational and not like they were trying to take their time. And so that's the framework right there. So if you're writing an email and you're trying to figure it all out, first of all, subject lines, less than 5 words, lowercase subject lines have higher open rates. Then the next phase is pay attention to your first 4 to 5 words. Then look at your first 2 sentences or 3 sentences that are personalized, that's relevant to the person you're talking to. The second piece in that body of the meat of the email is the value prop. And then the last piece is the call to action, which you should lean on an interest call to action, or what I like to call them, collaborative call to actions as well, which is open to learning more or interested in deeper dialogue. So that was a question that I got a good bit during this week. So I want to share with you guys as we're here. But you guys, we got to answer your question. So this question right here, hey, look, when you've got a video in your email, do you use video in the subject line? Yes. So when you add video to your subject line, there's a 16% open rate. So this is my suggestion on what a subject line would be. So let's say if I'm reaching out to Brian, right? I would say Brian plus Morgan, and then like a dash. So it's like it'd be an L. Quick video. That's it. So you just do Brian. So the prospect's name, Brian, plus Morgan, dash, quick video. And that's it. So that's the way you go about that video subject line. I would add that. We've seen some really good open rates on that one. Punctuations in the subject line, Matthew. So like an example of that would be like quick question. So that you can put like a question mark, right? So I normally lean around question marks rather than exclamation points. And I've seen that the question marks lead to more open rates than if I put like a period or exclamation point. So something to keep in mind there. And then we have, boom, we go up here. Best ways to approach an unorganized sales org. Brandon, can you define for me what unorganized sales org means? Does that mean like your prospecting is off? does unorganized mean that your sales force is off, right? You don't have a sales process in general. You only have stage one and close one. Like, Brandon, help me understand a little bit more, because I not be able to answer that question, right? Because if it's like, hey, we got a lot of Salesforce stuff that's bad, well, I'm not a data person in Salesforce, so I might not be able to answer I'm not an operations person, so I might not be able to help you there. But if it's like unorganized and like there's no flow, there's no process or procedure, then we got to understand what unorganized means to you. So, Brandon, I got to get a little bit more clarification there on what unorganized means, and I can definitely drill into that. So here, Josh asks home office setup. So get a headset that's noise canceling. So this headset I have on, the reason I wear it all the time is because I can't hear anything at all right now. Like, I don't know what's going on outside. I don't know what's going on outside of my apartment over here. Like, if anything happens, I can't hear it. So these are Audio Technicas, which are the same headphones that rappers and artists wear in the studio to noise cancel, so that when they're delivering their flow, they only can hear themselves. So for me, when I'm on a sales call, I'm doing this, I'm on a webinar, I don't want to hear outside distractions. I want to be 100% present in the moment. So I would highly encourage you to get a noise canceling headphones so you can focus on what you're doing. Also, as well, on my monitor, I have a curve monitor. So I'm looking at it right now. And what the curve monitor does, it gives you more space to put more tabs in there. So I'm looking at it right now, calendar, Salesforce, right? Slack, they all can fit in one window, and I can manage those different tasks at the same time. So I'd highly encourage you to get some type of monitor. And then also as well, you want to sound good, right? So you guys hear me right now. This is my mic that I have so I can sound good when I'm presenting that information, right? Because again, I don't want to sound like I'm off. I want to sound legit to the people that I'm talking to, right? So again, you can hear me and based on what I'm saying. And then again, that whole thing I'm talking about is going to allow you to then get that stuff going on, right? So again, I was just switching in and out of what I was saying there. So that's the whole goal, is like, hey, get a good headset, noise canceling. Next thing that you want to do is get a curve monitor that's legit. And then also you want to get a mic, right, that you could do as well. So that's the key there. All right. So Brandon, wait, let me know when you hear back from you. Again, I just want to understand what that means there, so I'm not answering that wrong. And yeah, a lot of people do the subject lines wrong, and you're like, what in the world? So that's the key thing there. So Brian, hey, you're saying I'm looking for a transition for a job. Currently a senior SDR, transitioning into SDR team lead. Haven't found many senior SDRs or SDR team leads roles in New York. I applied for SDR manager AE. I don't qualify. I don't want to be an SDR at another organization. Any advice? That's interesting. You don't want to be an SDR, another organization, and you don't qualify for an AE SDR manager. So what I would do is, let's go back here, because this is a good question. Brian, so this is what I would do here. Is that right now you're saying you're transitioning. So that means that you're still at your job right now. So I guess my question is, how long is it going to take you to become an AE based on your SDR team lead role? That's my first question. You said transitioning, so that means you're still there, unless there's some type of let go process that happened. Then, if you are still there, you got to find out what the track is. If you don't feel comfortable in that spot, then the next thing you have to do is to figure out, all right, I have to now go talk to other SDR managers and sales managers to see how I could possibly get in those organizations. What you also can do is, you said you want to be an AE. So the question really comes down to, Brian, is do you want to be an SDR manager or an AE? Right? So that's the key thing, right? So, but what I would say is that what I would transition to is I would focus on talking to the AEs at organizations in New York that you want to go to. So yeah, Matthew's already going where I'm going. A lot where you're going to see the transition into sales right now is there's going to be a lot of corporate sales executive roles. And what that means is that you're an SMB AE who's asked to prospect and close. So, Brian, you have a big benefit right now because you can prospect. Most AEs can't prospect. That's just facts. You could be like, Morgan, that's not true. Sorry, it's true. I train a ton of teams. And AEs, for the most part, don't know how to prospect. They've gotten really comfortable with their SDRs. They can't do it. So, Brian, as a person who can prospect, you're already way ahead of the game. So, what I would do is I would go talk to AEs who are in that corporate sales executive role, that growth AE role, and I would ask them, like, hey, how are the openings? How should I go about this process? And I would just treat your sales journey to the next role as a sales process. Hey, you got to prospect into the company, talk to the hiring managers, see where you can get that fit and move forward. I guarantee you, if you go on any company you want to go to, Brian, and you look at their website, you look at the careers, then you look at the careers, and you look at the responsibilities, most of the time, the AEs are asked that they have to do self-sourcing. And if you reached out to a manager and said, hey, I can cover these responsibilities on self-sourcing, most leaders are going to be like, okay, I got to bring this person in because we just said right here, hey, most people can't prospect. So it's the hardest skill in sales. It's number one every single year is prospecting. It comes on number one on the list. And it's been consistent that way for years now. And so, Brian, that's what I would do to get the A position. SDR managers, same route. Go talk to SDR managers at organizations that you're looking for in New York and then get their advice on how you can break into these companies. You know, I know a lot of people in New York, and it's a very tight-knit SaaS community. Even though New York's big, it's a very tight-knit SaaS community. So everyone knows each other across the board. So that's what I would definitely do to then get that stuff done. You know, Bob put in here from Twitter. He said, yeah, you know, informational interview with purpose as well. But Brian, those are the steps that I would take is go look at the responsibilities of what this role encompasses and reach out to those hiring managers and tell them exactly what you want to do. That is the best way to engage with getting hired right now is look at the job responsibilities, have that as complement to the hiring managers, and then you're good to go. So, Brian, hopefully that was helpful there. That's what I would do if I was in your position, because ultimately what it comes down to is taking an effort. Most people are lazy. Some of you might not agree with me on that, but I say 75% of people are lazy. They want a handout. They don't want to do the work. So be the 25%, do the work, and I guarantee you people will notice that. While all other people are just sitting out resumes, take that extra step. Because I know that most people are just lazy in general. So that's what I would say there. So, Brian, hope that was helpful. Yo, my guy Joe's in here. What's going on, man? And then we got Lucas in here. Hey, man, what's going on? It's good to see you. It's been a hot minute. So, yeah, I mean, guys, just take that advice there. Mayor, so you asked, hey, everyone's asking questions or subject line nowadays. How can we be different? So how you are different is that you have to just do the opposite everyone is doing, right? I just said do lowercase subject lines. Not a lot of people are doing lowercase subject lines, Mayor, so that's one way to go about it. However, what I will say, and I say this every single time, there is no silver bullet or magic formula. Y'all, I wouldn't be here doing a Q&A on Saturday if I had the magic formula. I would be chilling, right? So that's the thing, that we continuously have to get better and we have to try out new things. Split test, A/B test, figure out what works and what doesn't. That goes back into the point of being consistent and not just waiting for the handout. So subject lines that work, lowercase subject lines have been really helpful. I've got a lot of open rates on them. However, test out what your market is responding to, and then you're going to figure that out, right? So that's what I would do there. All right, so I'm going to go back here. We're going to go out to Ryan here. Hey, how do you coach SDRs to bring their personas out when prospecting? So, Ryan, what we did is we had a cadence and formulas that you had to stick to for the first 3 months. I didn't care what previous experience you had. I don't care where you were from, mandatory. When you came in our organization for the first 3 months, you had to stick to what was successful for all the other reps. Because first of all, we got to see, like, can you be successful with what's already been successful? Because if you can't be successful with the cadences and the formulas that have been proven to be consistent to hit us 100% every single month, every single quarter, then this might not be the fit for you. So what we did is we said, hey, we want you for the first 3 months, stick to our formulas. Then after the 3 months, we would then evaluate to see, okay, what are new things that you want to do? So every single SDR had to present new things that they wanted to do in their process to us as managers to be like, yep, you can do that. I would not let a rep just come in and be like, yep, this is me, I'm going to do whatever. I got to give you structure of what to do. And then once you become confident in that structure, then you can start doing different things. So for example, I had a rep, she was 300% of quota. And what I had to teach her though in the beginning was, hey, look, follow this structure and these formulas. Let's see success first. Then let's start amplifying your personality. So we found that video was fantastic for her. So that's what got her to that next step. You know, same thing. We had a rep who was like, they were really good at cold calling. So I was like, let's double your cold calls. And then they had a really good way of talking to the prospect that was different than everyone else. He just had that gift of charisma. So I was like, all right, we're going to let you do a little bit more of your funny jokes that you have and vibe with the prospect because you're good at that. So how do you get coach SDRs to bring their personalities? Well, they already have their personalities. You have to allow them to do that. As leaders, sometimes we don't allow our reps to bring their personalities because it's not how we would do it. That's not our job as a coach. Our job as a coach is to bring the best out of you, not to give me or give you a piece of me. You're not me. I didn't tell my reps, hey, go create the SDR Chronicles. And now we got a bunch of people creating YouTube channels. I didn't have every single person create videos on my team, 20 a day like I was doing. I didn't have everyone make 100 cold calls a day like I was doing. That's not coaching. Coaching is finding out, okay, what are you really great at? And let me bring the most out of you. And so you have to figure out what that person's personality is to bring the most out of them. And that's the goal there, Ryan, is I'm giving you structure that consistently works. And I'm also telling you the personality of what you can implement that to work as well. So that's how I coach your reps. 3-month rule. Once you're after 3 months, if you want to create something new, we will evaluate it and say, hey, maybe you could tweak it here, maybe you do this. As you get more comfortable, which I believe around 7 or 8 months is when most people get comfortable in their role based on me being in the role. And based on me coaching, that's the key. That's the key right there. So tonality, enthusiasm. So that has to do with mock cold calling too. That's definitely going to go on the phone perspective there, Ryan. So that's where you have to do a lot of mock cold calling for them to really understand that as well. Like, how do they approach certain situations? So if someone's very monotone, tell them to stand up. If someone jokes a lot, it's like, okay, when should you be doing those jokes, right? If someone's coming off super excited, okay, maybe we need to tone it down a little bit. So that comes down again to coaching to what is working in their personalities and what's not. Because I used to talk super, super, super fast. And now I talk fast, however, not as fast as I used to, because I had to figure out my pauses and things of that nature. So, Ryan, hopefully that helped answer your question there. It's just really around mock cold calling and coaching and getting people to understand when they can use that energy or not use that energy or speak up or whatever that is. All right, so Paige, you know what it is. We got the blueberry muffins today. For an email campaign, what would your advice be? The subject line or email title to increase my open or click rate for a campaign? So and it depends on what you are looking to talk. First of all, who you're talking to, your regions, all things of that nature. So I have go-to subject lines. I would have to look at what the subject of the email is too, to also compare that. So I'll give you 2 tips, right? And just think about it this way. One is the 3 U's. So this comes from copywriting. So if you have writing a subject line, you should be thinking about these 3 U's, which are unique, ultra relevant, or urgent. So unique means that I've done some type of research. I found a trigger to then reach out to you. Second is ultra relevant. And what all that means at the end of the day is that, is it relevant to that person, right? Relevant to that persona. And then on top of that as well, urgent means that maybe they're coming in inbound and now I'm going to create urgency on top of that. That's all that means at the end of the day. And so you want to take those three themes and then now you can create subject lines out of those as well. Additionally, what I will tell you is this one works really well for me, and it's worked well for a lot of clients, is the greater than less than sign. So a greater than less than sign would be like, let's say if I'm reaching out to you, Emmanuel, I would be like, Emmanuel, greater than less than sign, JB Sales. So that would be an example of a great subject line. The greater than less than sign works really well. It acts as a connector. People really receive that. And it's another thing that you can put there. Ultimately, when you're thinking about email campaigns, what you should be thinking about, and to go even deeper, is what are the priority and challenges that you're helping solve with, you see right here, the technology life-saving device, right? So based on the prospects you're targeting to, what are keywords that would stand out to them? So for me, when I make subject lines, it's all about making cold calls easier, making your video selling easier, like ease of use when making videos. Like these are subject lines that I have. However, that might not be the same for you, right? So that's why I don't have like a go-to right now. So what I say is you need to use the 3 U's that I talked about. The greater than less than sign is a good one. So Emmanuel, greater than less than sign, your company name. So your company name, not the company you're reaching out to, like your company name. That will help you get open rates. But what you really should think about is write down, hey, take a sticky note, right? Like, what are the priorities and challenges of people you're talking to? And then add those keywords into the subject line, and that will lead to higher reply rates. So, Emmanuel, hopefully that helps there in terms of the subject lines. All right, cool. So we got, again, I see the questions flowing in. I'm gonna get to them. So we're good to go. So let's see here. Arizona, do you ever book meetings through LinkedIn cold outreach after you connect with the prospect? If so, what is your approach on working towards a call to action? I'm an SDR. So we had talked about this last time, right? So Emmanuel, you put that, boom, water rescue, helping with water rescue, right? Making those things easier, right? Think about this way. I'm going to go back to you, Emmanuel. It's like, think about what do people want at the end of the day? Let's all think about this, right? Let's take a step back before I answer this question. What made you buy Netflix? What makes you get an Uber or Lyft? What makes you get an Airbnb? What makes people want to fly in first class? What makes people buy really expensive cars? Think about those things. Because it's easier, it's nicer, it's efficient. Those are things that you should be talking to your prospect about. Is how do you make things easier? How do you make it more efficient? How can you solve their problem? And if you can get that in the subject line and list of 5 words, I'm going to open it. If someone sent me an email and they said, making your LinkedIn inbox easier to respond to, I would open that in a heartbeat because it's a huge problem for me right now. The LinkedIn inbox is garbage. So if someone could fix that for me, I'd be really excited. So those things there. So let's go to Arizona's questions. So Arizona, we talked about this a couple times. So if you guys have been tuning in since day one of the Muffins with Morgan, you guys already know where I'm going with this. So this one is, I schedule a lot of meetings right now, Arizona, with LinkedIn videos. So if you are not using LinkedIn videos and you've been watching me, you're missing out. Period. We got people who have 40% reply rates. I have someone who's 100% reply rate. We got people at 60% reply rate. We got another person talk to me today. They're at 280% of quota because they're using video. If you're not using video, you're missing out. There's just too much data that I have at this point where I'm like, you're just missing out. This is the future of sales, is videos. Zoom, video prospecting, video selling, handling objections through video. This is the future. The faster you learn your video skills, the better you're going to be as a sales rep, period. So, Arizona, I'm booking a ton of meetings through LinkedIn Cold Outreach. It's my #1 channel to book meetings right now. Most people are at home, chilling. They're not going anywhere. They're not getting on planes. They're not commuting. They're at home. So LinkedIn has seen a higher activity rate as a whole. That means that more people are on it. You can engage with more people. So what I do is, Arizona, when somebody connects with me, I wait 2 days. Then I send them a video. That video is normally less than 90 seconds. It's normally like 45 to 60 seconds. And then I send that video out to them, and then that's how I get a lot of responses across the board. So if you're looking to schedule more meetings right now on LinkedIn video. Also, if you don't know about it, LinkedIn voice message too. That's a really good one. However, this is something that you should focus on right now, is that LinkedIn video piece. There's a lot of great responses you're going to get. It humanizes the process, and that's how I go about it across the board. So again, my call to action also as well is, if this is relevant to you in any way and you feel like this can help and you're open to learning more, feel free to respond back to me. Thanks for watching. That's it. So I'm not asking for 30 minutes. I'm not asking for 20 minutes. And I've been using open to learning more a good bit, and it's turned into meetings for me. And some of those have turned into closed deals already, because I'm not asking for 30 minutes. I'm just asking if they're open to learning more. So once they say yes, then it's like, okay, cool. I'll send you a calendar invite for 30 minutes. So Arizona, that's how I go about it. Hopefully that was helpful. If you got any follow-up questions, let me know. Scott's cheating on this guy, so we got to all make fun of Scott. He's eating hash browns and eggs and avocados instead of muffins, so we can't have you anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But hey, man, it's good to have you here. So now, we got one question. So I got a restream here. So we got a question from YouTube. Great CRM that you recommend? I would get Salesforce. That's what I use. Not too deep into detail on that, but Salesforce has been extremely helpful for me in terms of creating reports and follow-ups, etc. So again, that's what I would suggest to go use there. We got another question. Hey, she used the 103010 on the email here and asked if they're looking for more info, and they respond, no thanks. So yep, Palmer, yeah, we're here. We're here with the LinkedIn Live. We're about it. So you see right here, no thanks. So actually, okay, before we go into this question, everybody listening in, I just want to get a real quick pulse. All right, so just put this in the chat for me. Would you respond to somebody and you get a no thanks, put a 1 for me if you just leave it there. If when you get a no thanks, you're kind of like, all right, you just say no problem and you move on. Just put a 1 for me. I just want to see how many people don't ever combat this, and they're just like, oh, okay, open to learning more, and they say, nope, I'm good, and you just respond with 1. Just respond with me. Clay's in here. Yo, Clay, what's going on, man? It's good seeing you. I thought you'd be sick of me. We did 12 hours of training this week, but you're back, so that's good stuff. Yeah, no. The strategy I just walked you all through is how I got into train Clay's team. So this is I'm giving you all the advice that's working in real time. Clay's on here. That's exactly how that deal got closed. Was exactly the strategy I just gave you. So this is real time stuff. Now, okay, Scott put 1. Again, put 1 in there if you see this. So here's the thing. If you get no thanks, the thing is that most people just skim through emails and then just move on, and they just say, hey, no thanks, I don't have time for this. So Elizabeth, this is also a great way to bring video back, to be like, hey, sorry, not looking for more information. I said you mentioned no thanks here. Real quick, we've been talking to a lot of personas like yourself, and here are a couple of things that they feel are top of mind. So again, wanted to see if that's of interest to you. If not, again, I can back off, but I just want to share with you just to show you what's going on, and also so you're more familiar with our brand. So maybe in the long term, this becomes top of mind. We can go ahead and do stuff. So here's the thing, right? When people say no thanks, or people say not interested, or reach out in 6 months, we had every single time we created a video. Again, I'm leaning so heavily on video, but the thing is that we just found it was just an easy way to have a conversation with someone that said no thanks. How do you handle objection? Tactical empathy. We say, hey, oh, no thanks. Like, that's completely fine. I completely understand where you're coming from. You're probably busy, but here's a couple things that we've been talking to a lot of people like yourself about, and then here's some things that might be helpful. And if you're interested in like talking about this moving forward, we can. However, again, at the end of the day, no harm, no foul, right? So the thing is, you are leading with tactical empathy, and you're telling them, hey, this is what we're seeing with other people. I understand you said no thanks, right? But here are the things that we're doing to help other people. And if all we're trying to do is just show you what our brand's about so that we can build a long-term partnership. And so in the future, we can have this conversation possibly. So, a lot of people put in here, that have put no, things of that nature, follow up. But that's the real thing, is that I always just want to reach out to just see what's going on. David put in here, say, hey, yeah, if you ever have a need for X, feel free to reach out. Boom, right? Just don't just say, hell, okay, sounds good, and then move on. Like, have some type of way to communicate moving forward. David said it. I said, like David's approach. I always, and Aaron's talking about like, hey, she loves a no better than a response. It's a second chance. I just follow up with video, and I'm able to convert a lot of meetings that way. Or some people are saying, hey, it's no thanks right now due to what's going on, right? So they give me like a detailed on that. And then now, moving forward, boom, now I can have a conversation, because the no is just not yet, because Nikki put in there, it's a not yet, right? They didn't say, no, I don't want to talk to you at all. It's just, hey, no thanks right now. So all I'm trying to figure out is, hey, thanks for letting me know that. Moving forward, here's a couple things that other people have considered. If you want to have a conversation, just learn more about our brand so we can build a long-term partnership together, that's fine. However, let me know was the best time to follow up. Again, so I'm a sales rep. Because at the end of the day, you're probably going to follow up with this person again, right? Y'all all know the people who said, I'm not interested, and you follow with them like months later, right? So I just want to know what is the reason for the no thanks. So when I do reach out as a prospector, I know exactly what's going on. So listen, that would be my advice there. Is I know I gave a lot of different formulas there of how to approach it. The whole goal is that you want to respond, and you want to figure out what is going on with the no thanks. Like, and really dive deep into that and be like, hey, no thanks. Like, completely understand that. Here's the ways that we're helping other people, just so that you know. And then also on top as well, I'm just looking to build a long-term partnership with you, and so you're familiar with our brand. You don't have to pull out your credit card, right? I'm not closing you in one deal. And then also on top of that as well, let me know what's going on and when should I follow back up so I'm not an annoying sales rep. Most people will receive that really well, and they'll be willing to give you the information. So they said no thanks, but you've asked if it's okay to follow up, and they said they were open. How much time do you leave before following up? So if they said they were open, I would be like, I would figure out what does open mean, right? So I'd say, hey, based on when you say open, what exactly does that mean to you? So again, like I talked about, so I'm not an annoying sales rep. When should I follow up? So I give them a time frame, or I let them give me a time frame, right? So if it's 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I want to figure that out. And then normally what I do is, if they say 4 months, I wait half the time and I reach out like a 2.5 months. Because check this out, people will leave you, right? People will leave jobs and say, hey, reach back out in 6 months. You go back to reach out in 6 months, that person dipped. So like, I always reach out in half the time what they say to me, so to make sure that, like, first of all, they don't leave, and also I can get the headway and actually scheduling the meeting in 6 months. Just because someone says 6 months, I always do half the time, because in 6 months they're gonna have some new thing they want to say that why they can't meet. So I'm gonna make sure in 3 months to do like a real quick, hey, here's some info, here's a blog, how do I stay top of mind, all those things. So yeah, Clay, we're always gonna be learning here. So all right, let's go back to the questions up here, because I believe I missed one, and make sure that we're good. Jack, I am in Atlanta, so I'm coming back to you. What do you think are the most effective traits, techniques of great phone communicators? Starting to break through the noise in industry saturated with salespeople, cybersecurity, and hone on this whole thing. Thoughts? So I'll just give you one thing. I'll give you two. But the most important thing is the intro. Jack, most people's intros are not that great. They're the same intro that every other rep says. It's how you doing today. This is my name. I'm from this company, right? Everyone does that. So the best way to get someone's attention on a phone call It's in the first 5 seconds. If your intro isn't strong in the first 5 seconds, most people are going to ignore you. So how do you get someone's attention? So I work with a lot of clients in cybersecurity. Here's something I suggested them. It works really well. Is I'll be like, hi, Bob. Thanks for taking my call. I know I'm calling out of the blue. However, do you have a few moments to chat? That's it. So let's go over that one more time. Let's break it down. Hi, Bob. Thanks for taking my call. I know I'm calling you out of the blue right now. However, do you have a few moments to chat? Let's dive into that. If I ask you all right now, going back to the chat, participation here. Put a 2 for me if anyone has ever. Actually, let's do it another way. Put a 2 for me if you've never heard anyone on a call say thanks for taking my call, which means that put a 2 if like it's never happened to you. I'm going to guarantee a lot of you are going to put 2 because most people don't ever think, hey, thanks for taking my call when it's a cold call. No one ever does that. So immediately in the first 2 seconds, I've interrupted your pattern because I thanked you for taking the call. So now you automatically are leaning in. Then I say, hey, I know I'm calling you out of the blue right now. So what is happening there is that, yeah, okay, now you're acknowledging that I have no idea. You have no idea who I am. So now you don't have to think about that. Then I say, hey, do you have a few moments to chat? And the reason that works is because if you notice, I didn't introduce my name. So because then I didn't introduce my name, what ends up happening is you're gonna ask, who are you? And then I'm gonna be like, hi, Bob. Yeah, my name is Morgan Ingram from JB Sales, and the reason for my call is. And that's another thing that I was gonna add there is no one ever states the reason why they're calling. They just say, hey, yeah, I'm reaching out because I want 15 minutes of your time. So yeah, that's we just been touching base and checking in with people. What? The thing is that if someone cold called you, think about this, right? If someone cold calls you as a cold caller and they said, yeah, I'm just touching base and checking in, following up on an email that I just sent, and I just want to see if I get 15 minutes of your time just to talk about your initiatives and your goals. What? Like, no, I don't have 15 minutes to talk to you. Like, I didn't check out that email. I don't want to randomly talk to you about my goals and priorities right now. Like, there was no reason for this call except I was on a list and you want to get a meeting so you can get a commission. So really think about these things when you guys do your cold calls. Like, listen to your calls and realize, like, man, would I reply to that? Would I engage with my intro? We as sellers have to become more human in the way we approach prospecting instead of being robots. That's robotic. I can hire anybody to do that. The difference is that you have to have a strong and powerful intro, like I just told you. Now, you could take that different ways, right? You could do a completely different approach, right? There's one that I suggest to people. You could be like, hi, Josh, you don't know me, I don't know you, and the reason for my call is, boom, and then you go straight into it. But the thing is, you have to, in that first 5 seconds, dispel them. Then you have to say the reason for the call, and I'll add this additional piece as well, is you have to be active listening. Most people don't listen to what's happening on a cold call. They just wait to figure out what's the process I need to take to get a meeting instead of active listening to figure out, oh, wait, you said that. Like, let's talk about that a little bit more. So those are the 3 ways that really stand out. Is that, first of all, the intro. That intro I gave you, most people don't do it, right? Most people say, how are you doing today? Which is, again, is an automatic defensive state. Most prospects are like, oh, here we go again. Here's another sales call. I'm going to tell you I'm not interested. I'm going to tell you I'm in a meeting, even though I'm not in a meeting at all. That's what happens. Next, again, at the end of the day, you got to listen. That's key. And then, again, you have to interrupt their pattern. So, Josh, he's right there. You're putting it like you have to interrupt the pattern. And that script right there helps me personally schedule a lot of meetings, helps a lot of clients schedule meetings. And again, I want to completely interrupt everything. I want them to be open, and that script it works really well. So that's my take on how to get more people to engage with you. There's a lot of twos. Josh is upset now in the chat. He's like, oh man, like This is not good. Josh, hey, let him know, man. Let him know. All right, so cool. Let's go back up here. Jeff, I see your question. I've never used the 5 whys before, so that's interesting. Landon's asking, I'm an SDR. That's an opportunity to build on our outbound strategy for our BDC startup. Do you have any content on this? Cadences, sequences, and drip campaigns? Landon, so I dropped my campaign last time here on the Muffins with Morgan. So there's a video on that as well. So Landon, what I'll do is I'll just tag you in that. It was dropped on our company page at JB Sales. I don't want to go through the whole spill here, but essentially I talk through like my outbound campaign and what I've seen to be successful. So there is content on that, and I'll make sure to tag you on that as well after that. And if I don't, just remind me like in a few days, but I'll make sure to do it after this. Important lessons that you've learned as a leader. Okay, this is Keith. Josh. Yeah, the thing is that the thing is that most people are very comfortable in their approaches, right? And so most people aren't willing to try out new things. And so if you're just willing to try out new things and you're willing to interrupt patterns, you will be more successful than most people that are prospecting. Because most people like to stick in their own ways, and that's what leads to them not getting as many meetings as they'd like to. All right, so let's see. Oh, actually, nope. I need to bring up the question about the leaders. So again, this is just a take here. That's one thing that you guys can look at. But let's talk about the leaders here. I'm going to go back to this question because it's important here. So what are some important lessons you've learned as a leader? I think first and foremost, number one is as a leader, you have to be willing to own when you make a mistake and then learn the lesson from it. A lot of people would rather blame someone else for what happened instead of being like, you know what? That was me. That was my fault. And I could have done better there. I always, in every situation, if there's a disagreement or there's an argument, I try to see like, okay, like that person could have been 90% wrong, right? But how did I handle this? Like, did I handle this the right way? Did I handle this the wrong way? Could I have said something differently? Should I have sought to understand more? Like, I always am hypercritical about myself when there's a disagreement or something of that nature. Because I try to figure out, like, what did I do wrong? And is there a lesson here? So as a leader, you always have to have that self-awareness to figure out, all right, like, there was a mistake that happened here. Either it was on me 100%, right? Or maybe that person saw it differently and I didn't understand where they were coming from, and now that's my fault. Right? So as a leader, I always looked at it as like, hey, that's on me, and I got to figure out the way that works. Number two is being an action leader versus a thought leader. This one's big. Anybody could post something. Anybody can put out a video. Like, it's free. You could do that. Few people take action. So what's an important lesson of a leader is that you should be taking action based on the things that you tell other people. Right? So when I tell you guys, hey, you should do video, I'm not saying do video and I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, hey, I'm doing it too. Like, we just had Clay in here. Like, that's how I got that opportunity. I use video myself, right? So, hey, this is the way you can take action on it, and I'm leading you to that as well. Right? So that's one thing I've learned as a leader is that it's not just about what you're saying, it's about the actions you're taking. Right? So let's go back to Michael Jordan, right? You guys, most of you in here probably saw The Last Dance. If you haven't, go check it out. One of the things he talks about is, hey, I never asked someone to do something that I didn't do myself. That's the definition of a true leader. I've never told anybody in any piece of my content of something that I haven't tested and done myself. I would never do that. You can check all the posts I posted in 5 years. I've never posted something on a tactic that I have not tried out myself that has worked, and I've tried it out with multiple people. That, to me, is the definition of being a leader. Not saying, oh, guys, you should try this out, but I've never done it. Good luck. It's like, no, this is it. Like, I've done this. Here are the results. Here's what happens. You should try it out yourself. Period. So that's the thing. That's what I learned as a leader. Thing number 3 is understanding that you can't put your energy and goals on somebody else. Look, there are people that are probably have seen or watched this before and are like, man, I would never do a live Q&A on Saturday. That's a lot For me, that's whatever. This is what I do. For a lot of people, that might not be them. So if I told someone, hey, the only way to be successful is you have to make content every single day and you have to do a live Q&A on Saturday, that would be abysmal because I don't know what their goals are. So as a leader, your focus should be, what are your goals? You can't lead someone based off what you believe in. These are the ways that I go about my day. However, I can't tell you go do what I do because you might not have the same goals as me and you might not have the same aspirations. So I can't lead you to something that I'm doing because I'm passionate about it. That's not leading at all. That's forcing your opinion on someone and thinking, oh, well, my way is the highway, right? Or my way the highway, right? Like you can't do that. So what you have to do though, is you have to be like, look, like this is how I see things, but based on your goals, you should do it this way. So it's truly being right, empathetic in that to make sure you can get those things done. And ultimately, number 4, and I'll end on that so we can get to some other questions here, is leaders are readers. So how do you learn about leadership? How do you learn to coach other people? Well, read. I read a ton of John C. Maxwell before I was an SDR manager. That was the key thing for me. And I learned by reading John C. Maxwell how to truly lead people. Do I still have things to learn? Yes. Do I make mistakes? Yes, right? But I'm learning. That's the whole thing. I'm learning as I go, and I'm willing to admit, hey, that was a mistake. That didn't work out so well, right? Leadership is taking those actions on reading and learning and giving people other advice, understanding psychology, understanding human nature, and all those things. And you have to be able to do that. And actually, last point here, this is the biggest one, all right? So everyone here that's in the chat, I don't know how many people we got on here. We got a good amount of people tuning in. But here's the thing. Like, I don't care if you're the VP of sales, you're the founder, you're an SDR, you're unemployed. Like, leadership is an action, not a title. So let's take a step back. That's a big one. So you take a note. You got to write this down. So leadership is an action, not a title. There are people who are directors. They're not good leaders. There are people who are managers and they're not good leaders. There are people who are unemployed and they're probably better leaders than some managers. This is just real talk. So the thing at the end of the day is that your actions are predicated on you being a great leader. Don't wait on a title, a VP, a CRO, a director of sales, a manager title to be a leader. Go ahead and start being a leader right now in your communities, being a leader amongst your friends, being a leader right now. Don't wait for a title. Your actions will get you to that title. I don't care about titles at all. It's about your actions at the end of the day. Yes, title. Someone said granular on me. Like, yeah, titles matter when you're reaching out and trying to get a prospect in meetings. I get that. I'm talking about the leadership component, though. So those are the 5 things that I would say there, and hopefully that helps. We got about 6 minutes here. We got some people flowing in, but I'm gonna get y'all's questions. Don't worry about that. I mean, I'm making sure that I get in everybody. So let's go down here. Blake, I saw your question. I didn't forget about you. He said, hey, Morgan, when you're sending LinkedIn DMs, are you putting text verbiage around the video to give context, or are you just sending the video? Have you tested text versus no text? This is a fantastic question. So I've been A/B testing this, Blake, and I found that the context with the video has a higher response rate. I used to do it with no text, and part of that honestly was because I was making a lot of videos, and I got a little bit lazy. I was like, oh, I'll make a video, so yeah, cool. You should respond. Then I was like, you know what? Some people probably don't even know that you could click on this video, and they probably don't even know what it's about, so they're probably not going to look at it. So what I do, Blake, is I just give like a 1-sentence highlighter. And it'll be something like this. So Blake, let's say if I was reaching out to you and I noticed that you were hiring SDRs, for example, I would put like, hi, Blake, I saw you were hiring SDRs, and this video talks about how we help organizations that are hiring SDRs with our sales trainings. It's less than 90 seconds. Enjoy, right? So it's 1 or 2 sentences. And Blake, that's it. So I leave it at that. And I've seen more reply rates when I add the text to the video, because you got to have context, right? Like, based on how videos are watched now, most people engage with videos that have captions. That's why you see a lot of videos with captions and things of that nature. And also think about YouTube, right? Think about movies. Would you just randomly go see a movie if it didn't have like a description of what that movie was? I don't know about you guys, but when I go on Netflix, before I watch a show or an anime, I'm like, all right, like, what's this about? Like, can you give me the context? Right? So I look at like the description. I'm like, all right, that's pretty interesting. I'll watch. So we have to do the same thing, Blake, and everybody else with our videos. We have to add context to the video. What's this video about? And again, it doesn't have to be a paragraph. This isn't a novel. This isn't for you to tell how amazing your solution is. Like, nobody cares that you're the leading provider and you're number one in the space. Nobody cares about that. That's marketing messaging. You need to put why is that relevant to them? So Blake, that's what I would do. Add text to your videos. Just a quick text verbiage. And then again, it's just like, hi, Blake. The reason for this video is this. It's less than 90 seconds, less than 60 seconds. Enjoy. Peace out. Boom. Then now you're good. And make sure you follow up, guys. Some of you guys send videos and you tell me it doesn't work. And then I ask you, you don't follow up. All right? Like, you got to follow up. All right? So follow up 2 days later and ask for any feedback. So if Blake decided he didn't respond to me, cool. Hi, Blake, any feedback on my video? And you're going to get responses there. And I got tons of examples of that working. So again, I'm just giving you all the formulas. Galen already knows that she's still on here. I'm going to give you all the formulas for success here. And that's what we're here for. So that was a really good question. I appreciate that one. All right. Yo, this is so funny. Josh is so sad. I had to show this to Josh. Hopefully Josh does not leave this Saturday Q&A end up being sad, man. I hope you walk away at least a little bit happy. So we don't want that for you. Okay, what's up, Octavio? So video emails work in cybersecurity. However, you have to do it in a certain way. Okay, so Charles, I do not lead with the video. It's not my first step. So how it works in cybersecurity and talking to a lot of people in cybersecurity is, first and foremost, it works really well with LinkedIn video. You will have higher response rates on LinkedIn video. So let's set the record straight there. If you're doing video emails, though, I don't know what you have. If you have a sales off, outreach, whatever tool that you have that can view emails, what we found to be really successful in cybersecurity and also just in general is, I call this the heat video cadence. Okay, so anytime an email was viewed over, let's say it's cybersecurity, let's just make it a little bit different. Let's say if it was viewed over 3 times, right? They viewed one email in your sequencer campaign 3 times. Then you move it into a video cadence. You then create a personalized video for that person. So let's say if you viewed my email 3 times, right? So I'd be like, Octavio plus Morgan, space, the dash thing that I talk about, the line, quick video. Then I would use the prompt that I just gave Blake, right? Notice this is all coming together. Then I make a video for you. Now, how I make the video is I do a screen share video. This is key. I do a screen share video. And the reason I do a screen share video is because I show something that's very technical. So I can send you a screenshot of what they look like, but I have a rep. He targets people with cybersecurity, data, IT, and he does screen shares of like, hey, this is your LinkedIn profile. This is your website. This is what I want to talk to you about. And he talks about the technical background of it. This video style right here may not work as well for people in cybersecurity. Now, I have another person who's doing really well with it. He has I think it was like a 60% open. I think he's got like a 20% reply. I got to go look at the numbers again, but he's doing really well with cybersecurity and making videos. And he's doing that similar approach that I'm telling you right now. So yes, it works. You have to do it in a unique way. Again, I told you about the video cadence. Create that. Use that off of heat, right? If they have interest, create a personalized video. But LinkedIn videos have the highest reply rate. So hopefully that was helpful there. All right, everybody. So we answered all the questions, and we did it at the hour. So we were definitely proficient here. So real quick, everybody that tuned in, I appreciate you all as always. You guys know that we keep this fluid consistently. You guys know how it is. So I'm looking at everything right now. I'm looking at LinkedIn, making sure that we're good. And so I appreciate you all as always. Thanks for coming in here with the questions. And you guys know every single Saturday, 11 a.m. However, next Saturday, I will not be going live. I'm not going to be going live. I'm taking the weekend off. So you won't see me be going live. And that's purely because it's going to be the 4th. So a lot of you guys are probably going to be celebrating that anyways. I know we got some people from different countries, but here in the States, it's the 4th. So I will not be going live next week, so you won't see me. However, I will be coming back the following Saturday, and we will consistently keep it strong. So I appreciate you all as always coming here, asking questions, engaging. And if you got any questions that you want me to ask when I do come back 2 Saturdays from now at 11 a.m., let me know. And again, I appreciate you guys as always. Have a fantastic Saturday. I'll talk to you guys soon.